Hey, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Green-White Depths with a little twist. This is a deck taken from Dreadnought 33, also known as John Yannick, a good friend who has done well with this deck. It's a Green-White deck with just Pyroblasts and Red Elemental Blasts in the board to shore up some of the blue matchups, which is really nice, splashing a Teeg and a Plateau. So very close to what we were playing this morning. With Green-White Depths in the other Legacy prelim, but this one is, yeah, with a little bit of a catch in the sideboard, which is really nice. Hey Dan the man, welcome. One thing to note with this deck is that I really hope in a lot of the blue matchups I don't have to show the Teeg or Plateau and just fetch with the Savannahs in game 1, and then try to get them in game 2 with the blast effects. I don't think many decks would currently be ready for those. It is something we've seen in the past, but I wouldn't say that when you think of Green-White Depths, I wouldn't say a Blue Mage is thinking about blast effects post-board, which is pretty cool. They might not even be cautious of the Teeg or Plateau. If they see it, they might consider blast effects, but yeah, I think that they're pretty good. I did just take out 2 Deafening Silences from Jono's list, mainly because I don't believe we're going to be running into combo. And I think a lot of the other cards we have a lot more splash damage, like Gaddock Teeg, Pyroblast, Red Elemental Blast, and then I added in the place of the 2 Deafening Silence, 1 extra blast effect, so I see them. I just want to have the full 4, and then also Surgical Extraction as just an extra piece of graveyard hate. So hopefully it goes okay. It's been a big few weeks of content, so it's been really enjoyable. I've been really enjoying the Dark Depths decks. The matches are really interesting. Some are really fast, some are nice and grindy, and that's where the green-white deck shines, because you have that Green Sun Zenith package to really grind out your opponents. But yeah, this morning had some good matches. Played against Interplay on Mono Green Cloudpost, played against Winged Hussar on Black Red Reanimator with a white splash for Serenity and Wear Tear. And then also played against a Bant Lands deck, which is very cool. And the other one was 8-cast. But a kind of different take on 8-cast. One of the older versions that plays main deck Narset and Hull Breacher with Days Undoing and Echo of Eons to try to be a little bit unfair that way. Hey Jade, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I think, hopefully this prelim fires, but if not, we need 3 more players. If it doesn't fire, then we will just play a league, which should be pretty fun as well. But yeah, some really interactive games in the prelim this morning, which is really nice. I really liked Green-White. I was playing Urza's Saga in the Green-White list, which was fine. But there were a few times where we had Saga on 2, the mana for it, but we just wanted to cast other things. So it was a little bit awkward in that sense, but having the ability to go and fetch a Needle or a Shadow Spear was really nice. It allowed us to put some really early pressure, or mid to late game pressure on lands. Once they had Loam online, they had a Construct in play, but we had a big Knight, so we were able to put a Shadow Spear on it and attack in, which kind of meant that the Construct couldn't just be a fog for a turn. They were going to take an excessive amount of damage, so that was pretty sweet. But yeah, just excited. It's always fun playing these decks. Oh, up to 10, nice. All right, 2 more, and the prelim fires, which is pretty cool. Nice. If you want to find the deck list, it should be over here, I believe. Yeah, I can actually move it. There we go. Nice. 11. One more player, and we have our 12, which is nice. But yeah, I think it should be pretty fun. Playing the 3 Sylvan libraries in this version, which is pretty stock for Green-White. I was playing 2 in the other one, mainly because of the saga. You have to find space somewhere. But yeah, library's been pretty nice. Even against Blue-Red Delver, where you can just filter, I'm a fan of it. I like having at least one in the deck, because I find against Blue-Red Delver, especially post-board with all your removal, there's a lot of back and forth of just turns or your top decking, so having those libraries to make sure you're not just drawing dead is pretty sweet, because, you know, Murktide, Expressive Iteration, decks like Blue-Red have a lot of good top decks, and we have some pretty poor ones. Ah, someone went out. Rough. Oh, they're back in. $12. There we go. Very nice to see. I know Ali's playing, who's usually on lands, which was a little reason why I did go down on those 2 Deafening Silences and added in the Surgical and the extra Blast. Even though the Blast isn't relevant, the Surgical is. So just having that is pretty nice. Oof. Little stretch. All right. Nice to see it fire. Alright, up against Fuya. Okay. My opponent's known for Hogak, but they've also played a bunch of Affinity. Interesting. I like how MTG Bot says they're currently double queuing in a modern prelim as well. Very interesting. We on the draw. If it is Hogak, I'd be pretty happy. I think Depths has a pretty nice Hogak matchup, especially with the 2020 as just a fast win con. And then also some really nice, you know, game 1 interaction in Pachuca Bog, Endurance. Crop away Dried Arbor to trigger bridges is a good one. Opponent most likely taking their turn in the modern prelim. If they are on an affinity deck like 8cast or Affinity, it's going to be a tough one. We do have some pretty good sideboard cards in Tabernacle, Collector Oof, Force of Vigors, Prismatic Ending. The blast effects are pretty good as well. Hitting things like Emery, Psy, obviously Thoughtcast and Thought Monitor, which is pretty good. Just a nice clean way to remove them before they sort of get those cards. Also, sorry team. Yeah, also Red Elemental Blast, just a really nice way to deal with Uro. A nice clean way. No, you know, drawing a card, gaining life, putting a land into play, and then Swords to Plowshares or Path to Exile, just on the stack, out of here. If my opponent is playing in the modern prelim as well, I hope they haven't strategically chosen something like Oops All Spells for Legacy. Hey, Red the Reckless. Very nice to see you. Thank you for your YouTube comment. Very, very nice of you. I can only assume that my opponent is on Affinity. Hey Runcore, thank you very much. Star Fox, a pleasure to see you both in chat. For those of you who might have missed it, our opponent is also playing the Modern Prelim, so they are double queuing, hence the wait. Which is fine. I wish they actually gave us at least our hands so I could see and talk about why I would keep or mulligan my hand, but this is fine. This is fine, especially if it goes for like if it's a long grindy game. Being 5 minutes up already is pretty huge. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But yeah, in general, I think Depth is in a pretty nice position. I'm taking some time to do it, but I am doing a piece on the Green Sun Zenith right now. Just going through kind of Maverick and Depths right now in 2022, and if you're a player looking to play it, or a player playing the archetype and not sure what colors you should be splashing, just going through a bunch of things. We can give you a little bit of a taste. So it's kind of looking at new Maverick content and card considerations, current trends, green white, Abzan, Punishing Maverick, Bant, full color, green white, green black. I've also added in Abzan as well. Just looking at things like Mother of Runes, why people are playing 4 of them, Sylvan Library, Collector Ufos, Gaddock Teeg, in that sort of slot. Which one should be main deck? Which one should be sideboard? Some considerations around like Qasali versus Outland Liberator, Night of Autumn, and then also talking about Masked Vandal, why you might see that in the deck. Just did a piece on Graveyard Hate, just updating that for 2022, which is pretty cool. Urza's Saga has seen its play in some decks. I know that Mark's playing it in a bit of a 3 or 4 color deck, which is pretty sweet. There's a really good comment from Carador on Discord just about sort of the mid-range matchups and how top decking can be a little bit tough for Maverick playing cards like Noble Hierarch in the mid to late game, where a lot of these band techs are playing a lot more sort of stuff. But yeah, got a few things to fill out, but I'll kind of just have like probably like the best performing deck of each of these with a screenshot of the deck, and just talk over some card choices and if you're wanting to start with these sort of decks, where you should be starting. So Jai, too kind. I did write complete. Nice. Very, very cool. Thank you. Did I do it again? I did. There we go. Nice. All right, we have our game. I think this is a keep. We have Turn 1 Acceleration into Green Sun Zenith, and then we have Thespian Stage, Yavimaya. Oh, okay. Okay, so we actually have a turn 2. If we Yavimaya into Green Sun Zenith for Dryad Arbor, we then have Thespian Stage, Yavimaya, and Dryad Arbor, which means we can crop away the Dryad Arbor, get Dark Depths, which taps for green, and then we have 2 mana for Thespian Stage. So I'm pretty happy to keep this if it is either Affinity or Hogak. Hey, Interplay, thank you very much. Really nice to play against you this morning. And it'll be very cool to take you through my side of the matchup and just see what I could have done potentially better, or lines I didn't see, because it was it was a good like classic kind of post first versus Depths deck. I really hope this is going to be not Reanimator, but a basic Swamp is most likely going to be Reanimator. We'll see if they take the Green Suns here or the Crop. I guess Crop for Bog is pretty good as well. So I think they take the Crop Rotation, which is tough because it takes us off our interaction and also... So I could hold up Caracas for Grizzlebrand, but I think here the best thing is just going towards the combo. In case they like maybe next turn want a Faithless Looting and then don't hit a Reanimate spell. If I Green Suns here for Dryad Arbor, then I still have potential of drawing into Crop Rotation. But it is tough if they have Archon, which has been seeing a lot of play, and it's been pretty much choice number 1 for a lot of these decks as well. because that pretty much negates any reason to go and get a creature. But I do want to do something here, and I think this is bet. Yeah, it's tough. If we Green Suns here, they just get Archon and destroy the creature. If we get Karakas, they just get Archon. So I think the best thing to try to do is get towards having some sort of plan. Oh, wow. Surely not. Okay. I think it's just play stage here, because then it turns on just drawing naturally into Dark Depths. And I don't mind pulling out the Excavator, just to have 2 creatures. Surely they have like an Entomb here. Yeah, it's a weird hand to keep if you don't have the turn 1 play. And at least with Archon, worst case is we can just replay the Dryad Arbor from the bin that we sack. Yeah, so this card is really good. Yeah. Alright, so we sack the Dryad Arbor. Probably just discard the Forest here. Unmask is fine. Oh, nice. So now what we can do is just replay the Forest, and then the Forest can crop into Dark Depths. We have the Yavimaya to... Oh, the Ramanap to sack as well if really needed, but we don't actually want to. Because worst case is... Archon attacks, we sack the Ramanap, we make the 20/20 and block, and then they have another way to get Archon back into play, and then we have to sack our 20/20 as well. So I think the play here is just to play the Forest from the yard and hold up crop rotation for an end of turn 20/20. They do gain 3 life as well, which does matter here. Okay. So they attack here. This is for 9. We go down to 8. We lose the Ramanap. End step, we make a 20/20. We attack them for 20. They gain 3 life here. So they go to 23, then they go to 3. I think I have to try to block and then hope they don't have a way to get it back. Which is pretty bad. But we can then at least try to potentially get things back in order. Sack a creature, discard flagstones. And then... Yeah, it's not great, but I have to try. Oh, nothing? Interesting. Wow, they didn't have it. Well, really nice to talk through the lines, because there was a world there where I forgot the 3 life gain from Archon and got set up. Very cool. Winning game 1 is pretty huge there, so that's pretty nice. So we're looking at BRx Reanimator, most likely splashing white for Serenity. So what do we want? Do we want the Endurances? We want the Surgical. And I don't mind the Force of Vigors, just for Animate Dead. Usually there's cards in here that are just worse, like Sylvan Library, I'm happy to take out. Maze of Ith is tough because the Archons are just so good at attacking through Maze of Ith because it's, you know, it triggers on attack. Safekeeper can come out. Crops are good, Reclaimers are good, Green Suns are good. Prismatic Ending, I think I'm happy to trade that for a Force of Will. So something like this. Just double checking as well. Yeah, this is pretty good. Ramanap definitely has some play to it. Endurance is obviously solid, and going up to 3 is nice. Night of Autumn, again, to hit an Animate Dead would be really cool. Another Reliquary, quite nice. Reclaimer, really nice. Green Suns to find these creatures. Crops. Moxen are still fine. Moxen are fantastic, especially if they're on a Chancellor build. Allows us to kind of play around the Chancellor attacks. So I'm happy to submit this. But pretty unlucky for my opponent. They had 5 cards in hand and didn't have a Reanimate spell or a Faithless Looting. But crop there, really nice. Hope my opponent is not playing Modern and doesn't get to sideboard in time. Ooh, this is a pretty nice hand because we get to hold up double Endurance and Surgical, and then also Mox away the Diamond, so there we go. Hey Hef, welcome. Not too bad, got up game 1 against BRx Reanimator, which is nice. Looting is more than fine. Grizzlebrand, double looting. Unmask me, pitch Animate Dead. So I could potentially Surgical the Grizzlebrands here, and then let them take an Endurance. But I think I'm happy just allowing them to take whatever they want. Most likely Surgical. Yeah. Because we have a lot of good covers here. But at least next turn we get to Mox, get Dark Depths away, and then just Green Suns for Dried Arbor. They take the Surgical. Okay. We'll get rid of the Ramen up here, and then hopefully get to a situation where we can just hard cast this Endurance next turn. Two cards left. Could potentially be Faithless Looting. Yeah. And I guess they could hit like Lotus Petal Reanimate again. Exhume, Prismatic Ending. Okay. Reclaim is actually pretty nice as well. It also means we have Bojuka Bog open next turn. There's a world where I could have kept the Reclaimer for Endurance, but I think we're okay here, especially seeing that looting did not discard a creature. Like they need like Entomb and Reanimate as the two cards, or another looting into Reanimate. Or I guess they could have looting into Reanimate, or Exhume with Lotus Petal, or Animate Dead with Lotus Petal. Okay. Now I'm pretty happy just to pass. Holding up Reclaimer and also Endurance. Yeah, nice. Very cool. Yeah, could also hold up the combo here. Definitely looking at this graveyard with 3 lootings in there, it's definitely going to be end step Endurance. And then, yeah, we have Reclaimer, which we are running 3 Dark Depths. So if I wanted to make the Reclaimer a 3/4 this turn, I could. Actually, the fetch does it. Fetch is 2, and then the land I sack to Reclaimer is 3. I don't need to get another Dark Depths and then sack one of the Dark Depths to get a 3rd land into the bin. But yeah, pretty nice. Pretty, I mean, the deck just kind of did what it did, and that opening hand was just absurd. So pretty sweet to get that. It was a fast game, so it's gonna be a bit of time here for chatting. But yeah, I really enjoy this metagame for Depths. I think it's challenging, but there's a lot of games that you can win by just playing some tight Magic, running through your lines, knowing sort of what's the best. There's a lot of reward for patience, I feel, with Depths, especially when knowing when to play around removal. Even little things like knowing even if you have the mana for a Reclaimer, knowing when to not use it so you don't tap yourself out of Sajiri's step. Yeah, it's got a lot of play to it, which is really nice. It's just a fun deck to be able to play a pretty fair strategy, but then have a pretty unfair win condition in 2020, sort of out of nowhere in some instances, which is pretty cool. But yeah, black-red here. Not too hard for sideboarding. Let's go to DeckTech. So how did I just sideboard? I do want to take notes on these. We brought in the Force of Vigors, mainly for Animate Dead, and I think it is worth it. Surgicals and Endurance. I believe that was it. So 5 cards. Searching up the maze is interesting because I would say the deck that I want it for most is Blue-Red Delver, which does play Wasteland. I've only played with maze a few times, and it's nice when you do have Yavimaya in play, but otherwise it can be awkward if you're using like Reclaimer to go and find it because you are putting yourself back in mana. I would say it's probably the least searched land for when I have played it. But there have been games as well where my opponents go on like turn 1 Ragavan, and then we've just played Maze, and it's bought us a bunch of turns because they just haven't been able to find an answer for Maze. they might have kept counter magic for a piece of removal and not kept a hand with Wasteland for Maze. Yeah, it's one of those cards which is kind of weird, where it's like, it's in all these lists, but I'm like, I kind of have it. It's like it's a nice of. I would say like maybe Blast Zone could just be a better take, especially in a build that isn't playing too many creatures. Yeah, it's tough because there's been so many times that when my opponent has got a Murktide into play, it's usually around the mid game, and by then they've probably found a Wasteland, and unless they're aggressively Wastelanding me, they've probably got a spare one just sitting there for something like Maze. Blast Zone does kill Reclaimer, but there's a... Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, when you look at a creature base of like Ragavan, DRC, and Delver all at 1 CMC, it's obviously quite appealing to run something like Blast Zone. And then also something against like Elves or perhaps Death and Taxes, it can be pretty solid. Maze obviously not the greatest way to try to win against Hoof, but... You used a Blast Zone to destroy a Murktide? Crazy. Because that's 2, 4, 6. That's a lot of that is a bucket list achievement for playing a Depths deck, or playing any sort of deck with Blast Zone. Yeah, that's a lot of mana. So we took out the libraries, the Ramanap, and the Safekeeper. I believe that was it. Actually, the Prismatic Ending kept the Ramanap just in case. Like Ramanap with Dried Arbor isn't too bad, or getting back any sort of land that you discard to Archon. Like getting that Dried Arbor back, or at least having the Dried Arbor there for Archon was quite relevant. But I think this split of 5 and 5 is pretty nice. Yeah, that's a great point, Mapson. Where you can, if you've already got a Bojuka Bug in play, you can Wasteland it and then replay it from the bin to get an extra ETB. And like you can kind of do the same thing with Karakas if you really need to against a deck. I'm not sure what deck you would need to double Karakas, but you can like Karakas your opponent, Wasteland it, play it, Karakas your opponent. Maybe like an 8-cast deck where they have like Urza in play and also like Sai or Emery. Definitely an interesting one. Yeah, I guess one nice thing about a stage deck with Blast Zone is that you can create a copy of Blast Zone with no counters on it, which means you can take care of 0 CMC permanents such as Mox Diamond or Constructs, which is pretty nice. Or even like, I guess that's a way to get rid of the Thopter tokens out of 8-cast. And a nice way to kind of get through them if you're playing a Dark Depth strategy, of course, to try to get out through them. But yeah, I played this morning with a green-white version with Too Easy Mapson. Where was it? Green-white Depths. Green-white Depths. Green-black Saga Depths. Green-white. GWR Maverick. How am I not seeing it? Saga Green White Depths. Yeah, this was the list we played this morning. No, it wasn't. It says Glacial Chasm in it. Green White Depth Sprouts. No. Green White Mav. No. Green Black Saga. Where? Oh, Green White Depths. Yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah, this is the list that I played this morning. Not playing any combo hate, specifically Deafening Silence, because I don't think in the prelims I'm going to need it. It is good against 8-cast, but luckily we got there anyway. But this version is playing 2 Sagas and 2 targets along with Mox Diamond, which was nice, but I found out a lot of the time we were just casting spells instead of actually creating the construct, so we weren't getting full value out of it. But having the Needle in the deck for like opposing Wastelands or opposing creatures, and Shadow Spear to get through those creatures was pretty relevant. But but I feel like you could easily play green-white to the same sort of power level, even if you're not playing Saga. Because if you cut the Sagas and the Needles, you get 4 extra slots, which is pretty huge. Like you can then play 2 more lands, of course, and then like an extra Sylvan library, and maybe like a main deck Prismatic Ending, or you could play like two main deck Prismatic Endings along with your libraries. A lot of different things, which is cool. 2 steps is really nice. 2 steps is interesting because I feel like a lot of players still don't really expect the second one after you've used the first. So having the second one's really nice. That's also one small change I made with this Naya version, was playing the second step, because I did want to have that. Death and Taxes is usually a pretty interesting matchup because there's a lot of back and forth, but it is tough. They're obviously already a Krakus and Wasteland and Port deck, so they're gonna hit your mana pretty hard. And then they have a lot of outs to things like Flicker Wisp. Skyclave Apparition is very good at hitting things like Sylvan Library or your creatures. Even taking out the Moxen with like a library or with a Solitude or a Flicker Wisp is pretty good. The Yorion versions just have so much gas as well that it's hard to keep up with. Solitude is obviously a great way to deal with our creatures as well. It's definitely a matchup where I would probably rather have more Sylvan Safekeepers. But it's tough because they have a great long, sort of mid to long game. And they're also a deck that can pretty easily handle an early 2020. So you don't want to be too quick against D&T without being cautious of what their outs are. I mean, obviously being a Swords of Plowshares deck as well, you have to make sure you're doing okay. But I really like Safekeeper in these builds, especially with Flagstones of Trocare. So you do get some, quotation marks, free activations of Safekeeper by not actually losing a land drop. And playing the Green Suns is nice. You could potentially play a second Safekeeper in the board, or Torpor Orb against D&T. Torpor Orb's really nice because it turns off a lot of their pressure in Stoneforge Mystic, their tutor ability in Recruiter of the Guard, and then their removal in Flicker Wisp, Skyclave Apparition, and Solitude, and then also turns off Yorion, which is quite nice. But yeah, D&T is usually a pretty interesting matchup. What are the other cards that I brought in? Prismatic Force, 2 Endurances. Alright, round 2 starting in 30, which is cool. Oof. Hope you're all doing well. It is Wednesday evening here. Yeah. And the week is going pretty quick. The only tough thing with Massacre is that it does hit our own creatures, which is pretty tough. There is a world where you might have like a 3/4 Reclaimer and like a 3/3 or bigger Knight, but it can definitely come back on you, which is tough. I draft the beats. Last seen playing Delver. This is a bit of an awkward hand because it has a turn 1 play in Reclaimer, but both of these lands come in tapped, which I'm not a big fan of. There is a world where we could play out the Dryad Arbor and then see if we can untap with it. Oh, there we go. But I'm not a big fan of this hand. One of my core essentials is, does the mana work? And the mana doesn't really work here unless the Dryad Arbor stays alive. So I'm pretty happy to mulligan this. All right. Well, we can keep this and bottom a library. And then we can play around Wasteland by just holding up fetch land. If they are on Delver, which I have a small inkling that they are, they haven't played Legacy in a long time. Actually, they played the prelim is it Delver in oh, it's their turn 1. Okay, that's actually not too bad. Island Delver. Okay. Swords is pretty nice. The only thing is Delver is probably the creature that I worry about the least, so I think we'll just go Windswept Pass. And seeing how much pressure they have, we might just go for like a end step Swords untap play library. They hit a Force. So there is potential here to just Swords the Delver now, so they can't force the Swords, because the longer the Insect is in play, the worse the Sylvan libraries get. And I can thankfully just get a basic here. Days could be rough, but I do know about Force. So I either force a Brainstorm here. Okay. Maybe like a Dashed Ragavan here would be pretty bad. Yeah, okay. It's probably the other card to consider. They hit a Knight. Green Suns. Okay. They didn't daze the sword. Potentially because they wanted to dash the Ragavan. I don't mind throwing out one of these libraries, but then we do lose the library to... We do lose the Yavimaya to Wasteland, which would be pretty huge. I don't mind Green Suns for Dried Arbor. Just to build up my mana. And then if the Dried Arbor gets taken care of, then the crop puts a third land into the bin for the Reclaimer. They could have Gut Shot. I don't mind Crop here. Potentially for Karakas, now that we know about the Ragavan. I don't mind this because we're losing the Dried Arbor anyway. The only downside of this crop is that we don't lose an extra card, an extra land, which would turn on the Elvish Reclaimer. Yeah, so they have to draw the Wasteland here if they Wasteland me, because we know they have a Ragavan as their last card. Thespian Stage. Okay. Reclaimer. That's pretty good. I don't mind double Reclaimer here. Interesting. I'm pretty happy to block here. I think. Yeah, because then we get the Sylvan Library down, potentially. This could mean they drew into another one, but it's probably okay. Yeah, okay. I will play this and then play library. Them hitting like crop rotation would be pretty brutal there. There's a few good draws that they have. Endurance, a really nice draw. Wow. Okay. I have no cards in hand. I probably don't want to go to 7. Put on top and then put on top, just in case Ragavan somehow gets in. They hit the Reclaimer instead of the sword. This just plays around days, which is pretty huge. It's pretty good. Yeah, Endurance was a fantastic draw. So they're gonna ponder. Dragon Rage Channelers just give them so much value. I wonder if they play on Holy Heat. Doesn't look like they do. They chose to not shuffle, which is huge. Surely they Wasteland, yeah, okay. That's fine. That's pretty interesting. Murktide's okay. I think Wasteland here on the Volk is better for us. Another delve was pretty big though. I'm not gonna swords just yet. See what they reveal. Expressive Iteration, that's pretty good. I think just to make use of my mana here, I'm pretty happy to swords. And I think it's just going to be a Dragon Rage Channeler because of the extra value they get off it. If they want to pitch... Okay, cool. I was going to say if they wanted to pitch the Expressive Iteration, that's more than fine. Yikes. Probably keep the Reclaimer here just in case they like obviously get in with the Ragavan. But obviously here a little bit stuck on green mana. But like, look how much work this Endurance has done. Like, it's just absurd. Come on, green mana. Oh, well, that is a red card. I mean, that is a card that stops one card on the field, which is nice. Yeah, I think I will move towards paying once, at least maybe next turn. Now that we do have another answer for the Ragavan, it's quite nice. Nice. All right. Okay. No attacks. Okay. Well, that is a green source. Put on top, put on top. Cast Mox. They could force this, they don't. Well, that's huge. Happy to play Reclaimer here as a 3/4. And then potentially next turn we can Green Suns for another Endurance, but play around Days. They did pitch the Expressive Iteration, which is a pretty big win for us. It was interesting that they didn't fetch there an Iteration in their turn. I'm not sure if they're trying to play around Wasteland on like a Volk. Or if they felt like they wanted to hit in another land drop off the Iteration, so it wasn't worth casting it. They attack with both. Okay, so they have some sort of removal in hand. So I am happy to block this. I don't want to succeed either in case they play the Ragavan. Three cards left. We know one is Ragavan. Perfect. One, two, three, four. Just don't have Force blue card. Oh. Oh, we don't have another one. Oh, we don't have another. Oh, no. Okay. We don't have another Endurance in the main deck. I'm thinking of my deck. So I think we just go for Night of Autumn here to gain some life. Like, buys us a bit of a turn. I think that's better than Knight of the Reliquary. We do die to like a bolt off the top if we get Knight of the Reliquary. But is that putting us in a position where we can win this game? Because I think right now we have to win this game through Dark Depths. And the Knight of the Reliquary, if it survives, gives us a turn, which is nice. Yeah, gain 4 puts us to 8 and then to 5. And then we just lose probably the next turn anyway by taking 3 and then the bolt. So I think it just has to be Knight here. And just hope. Tough. Yeah, Maze of Ith is actually a thing as well. Maybe keeping the crop was better, knowing this. Murktide. Murktide's pretty strong here. Okay. Yeah, I do like the play to win instead of the play to not lose. That's very true. Removal spell here allows us to... Oh, okay. No. I want to find... Ah! I can't keep both either. Because I have the stage to make the 2020. But I don't have another way to put the maze into play as well. Tough. Just having a quick check. I don't think there's anything I can do. Yeah. Rough. Very cool games though. Very, very close. I like all the blasts. I like the endurances. I don't mind 2 chokes on the play and prismatic. Libraries can go. Moxen are interesting. Safekeeper can go. Probably don't need all. I just like bringing in all because they're such good answers to Murktide, Expressive Iteration, and also just making our stuff uncounterable. I could potentially see a world where the Moxen are taken out. Knight of Auden can come out. I don't mind just trimming, like a Knight, a Reclaimer, a Crop, a Green Suns. Because the Moxen are just really nice with either growing a Reclaimer before I usually can, playing around days, getting colors online. It does have the maze, but... And a choke, which is interesting. One piece of the combo. Has no removal or permission. Yikes. Okay. Keep this bottom Dryad and a fetch. And this is 3 lands that make the Reclaimer a 3/4, which is nice as well. Okay. I don't mind drawing a land, so I'll just untap and draw for turn. Ending. Okay. That's pretty nice. I like keeping the pressure off the board. There is a world where I don't mind my opponent wastelanding me. If we get a Plains here and then draw into a blast effect, we kind of have to go for a Taiga, which also means my green source is open to wasteland. So there is a world where I just don't play around wasteland and get Savannah here. It does also make Reclaimer bigger a turn earlier if they do go for Savannah next turn. I like Savannah. And then next turn I can play the Reclaimer. Love to see Volk here. I don't want to see Fetch into Mountain. Okay. This is actually pretty nice as well. Chose to shuffle. Okay. Kind of a dead draw there. There's a world where they can double Gutshot in response to the Wasteland, but... Oh no, it's because it's Sacrifice Wasteland and passes the cost. We're all good. We're all good. Don't listen to this guy. I could have played the Wasteland first player on double days, that's correct. Very happy to see Ponder here, not Murktide. I guess Murktide would be pretty small. No shuffle. Delver. Okay. Probably deserve that. There is a world where I'm supposed to just Bojuka Bog here. But I do have the sword for Murktide, so I'm not too unhappy. There is also a world here where I fetch and then go for Bojuka Bog so they can't cast a second main Murktide, but I feel like my opponent would have played around that and just gone for Murktide in main phase 1 if they had Murktide. All right. I'm just going to get Flagstones here for a little bit of value and then sack the Flagstones in their turn to get Bojuka Bog. So a land here would be really nice. Because then we can also swords. Or double swords. I think we take the 9 and then double swords on the way back. Supposed to stop and draw step. They're going to go straight to combat. Interesting. I guess against this start where it was quite slow, that choke hand would have been quite nice. They have gut shot. Okay. I'd rather keep the Moxen in hand as unknowns at this point. And I do want to deal with this Delver. Murktide, rough. Yeah, the opening was... I did take a while thinking that it was going to be okay. But yeah, the two Moxen have just been dead draws, unfortunately, on a Mulder 5, which you just can't do against Delver. That 5 really needed to have kind of like a really good hate piece, like a maybe a choke or like Pyroblast. I guess we have Blast off the top. No. Tough. Definitely a bit I could improve there. Because to be fair, the 6 did have, or the 5 did have everything we could ask for. The 6 was obviously a mulligan with just Bojuka Bog as the land, but yeah, the 7 was definitely interesting. Hey Panda, welcome. What have you played against so far? The only issue that I had with the opening hand is that by the time I get choked down, they've most likely cast 1 or 2 creatures. Which, you know, if I cast the choke, then I might just be dying the next turn. So for me, it's really crucial, especially with so many, like, we had 4 blasts, 4 swords, and the extra prismatic, and the endurances. So maybe there was like a lot of draws to get there. Really awkward. Also awkward, pretty awkward there to Bojuka Bog my opponent, and then next turn they cast like a 6/6 Murktide. That's crazy. That is crazy. But that is Magic these days. I am just gonna take a quick break. I'll be back in a second. Nice. Stone and Wood Pacific Ale. Mwah. The nectar of the gods. Oh. I also have this contraption, which is pretty cool. It is a Yeti, if anyone has one. It's like a big beer coaster you can put in your fridge. And then what you can do is put your beer in it, and it keeps it nice and cold. Pretty sweet. Oh, it's gone. Everywhere. Apologies. Cheers to Fair Magic. Oof, that's good. Yeah, tough one. Tough one. A bit of back and forth though, which is really nice. But the amount, yeah, the threat density there is huge. I have considered something like shifting Ceratops against blue-red. Also not bad against control decks. Not too bad against like Death and Taxes as like an attacker and also a defender. But 4 mana is just enough, like a lot. And it doesn't really do anything for the gameplay, and at least like Endurance stops Murktide as well a little bit. A lot of little things. I know Ali's on lands, so I'm going to assume that game is going pretty long. Looks like Ali is down a game. Oh no, sorry, it's a 1-over, so a 1-1. Ali also has been putting out some new content around lands, which is pretty cool. So if you want to check that out, you can find Ali on MTGO, sorry, on Twitter, and then we will see here. Albert Lindblom. So if you want to get in some lands content, some really good lands content, check him out here. Really nice guy. Yeah, he's been playing some pretty cool decks. So this is... actually, that's his round. So he might have a DeckTech at the top. Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw him playing Bant. Yeah, so playing like, speaking of DeckTech. Yeah, the Ipnu Rivulet, which I believe is a card for Doomsday. It is a desert, tap for a colorless, or pay 1 life, tap it, add blue, or sacrifice it, target player mills 4 cards. Yeah. So the Rivulet is pretty good against Doomsday. And then it just has Flusterstorms in the sideboard, which is kind of the Bant splash, which is hilarious. Like no Uros, nothing like that. It's just playing Flusterstorms and I guess the Rivulet, which is pretty cool. It pretty much is green-white, I guess. And then it has a very small splash, which is cool. Is Interplay playing? He is not. Tony, what are you doing? What is this? No backup? You could have easily stolen this this prelim. Blue is also to help with definitely, yeah, that's very true. You're about to go to sleep? Sitting this one out? Okay, that's fair. I'll make sure if we if we can get a few good wins, I'll dedicate them to the Green Suns. What's the... there is someone came up with I think it's called the Green Suns. Oh, the Sylvan Syndicate. That's us. So you're definitely in the Sylvan Syndicate because Newton's there. You're in there. I would love to be in there. It's kind of like the Cantrip Cartel, but the Sylvan Syndicate is a bit more fair, a bit more Green Suns-ish. We're getting shirts. We're obviously getting shirts. He's beating me in a league. I think Runcore, you could say that for a lot of people who play against Interplay in leagues. Alright, on the play, which is really nice. And a hand that has a lot of variety to it. We have removal, we have creatures, which is nice, and crop. Alright. Lance plays, yeah, definitely. Yep. I think I would say so. I'm going to keep this, but I'm going to play it a little bit slower and just lead on the Windswept Heath pass. I'd hate to be up against like Reanimator and not have Crop Rotation up, or some sort of graveyard deck. Opponent kept 7. Holgam in the club. Nice, mech. Love it. I love it. Too many people put in exclamation point deck instead of exclamation point deck list, which is such a small thing. And this might actually be Delver. Okay, nice. Pretty happy just to untap and Prismatic Ending that and then hold up Crop Rotation if needed. Step. Okay. So Crop also represents 2 cards, which is nice. So next turn I can play the Reclaimer, and then we could crop away a land for a fetch land and then fetch as well. I don't want to play these Reclaimers out into bolts when I know that a little bit of patience will allow me to play these as 3/4s. So hopefully in this game we can get back against Blue-Red Delver. It always feels really nice when you can play against the deck, go down, but then play it again straight away and get up, just to like fix your mistakes. Build on your loss. Flooded Stream makes me think this is going to be a newer version, potentially, with white in it. I'd actually love a green land. No. A little bit awkward here. Because I currently only have 1 green source. I could crop for Yabamaya, but I think there's better things to do. I'll give it 1 more turn. I don't really want this hitting either. Force. Pitching a Murktide, that's pretty huge. Okay. They really want their mana. Potentially. I don't mind cropping for Crackers. I don't really want to play myself into Daze, though. So I'm just going to take this. No lands in hand. Interesting. Is it crazy to crop away the Savannah for a Yav just to get the extra green mana instead of floating a white? Yeah, I think I will crop the step. The only upside of not cropping the step away is that I get then 3 green mana to play 2 Reclaimers and also crop if I want, or 3 Reclaimers. But it will be, crop the step. Get Yav. Play Reclaimer out. And then probably just hold up crop here. So worst case, if they try to bolt this, we can then, we get a land into the bin. Ooh. Opponent needs double gut shot here, which is pretty good for us. Because even if this gets dazed, I don't really care. But now I get to get Mazavith, which is really nice. And maze back the insect. And now they lose their Ragavan as well. We know they have 1 got shut. I assume they don't have 2. Nice, that's huge. Oof. I think I like just attacking here. They could block and then gut shot. Maybe that was incorrect to do. But now we just get to try to race with Reclaimers. There is a world where it's better to hold up Reclaimer in case they have Wasteland for Maze before combat, so then we can just actually get rid of it with Reclaimer and find something a little bit better. Or at least make use of it. So maybe an aggressive attack there. Maybe one that wasn't needed. But I mean, if they spend their turn wastelanding us, then they're going to lose this race. So it kind of has to be a Murktide here. I'm glad you like attacking, because now I feel better about it. Brainstorm, okay. I think next turn we will get a Bog. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So I think here I'll attack with 2 and then leave 1 up. I'm actually going to put a stop at the end of damage as well. Because there's a world where they block and then try to gut shot one of the Reclaimers, and what we can do is then untap one with Maze of It and then go and get Step. Ooh. Okay. I guess we deal 3 and 1 and then we go and get Bog now. This is actually a pretty awful attack for my opponent. Because we actually get out of this pretty well. Because we get to go... Blocks are okay. We deal 2 damage and then 1 damage. Yes. And then here, I get to untap this one after damage. Nice. Oh, I was supposed to Bog them. Oh, I was supposed to Bog them. That's all good. That's all good. But yeah, okay. So we get to go... Sakyav. This has 2 damage marked on it, I believe. Or 1 damage marked on it, I believe. So this Bog should kill the Dragon Rage Channeler. Nice. And then play other Yav. And just pass with Reclaimer open. Yeah, so what I was supposed to do was actually do this later on. Hey, back, welcome. Yeah, I should have gone for protection beforehand, but they could have just responded to the ETB trigger of Step with Gut Shot, and then Gut Shot and Delver would have killed the Reclaimer. But still probably better, because then it's still a 2-for-1. Tough spot for my opponent without any sort of pressure here, because we get to turn Flagstones into Deathspin Stage, untap, and then have enough mana for both Reclaimer and Dark Depths. Which is pretty nice, because they had a pretty like quick start in the larger scheme of things. See what the Ponder does. Okay, this is gonna be fine, because we get to allow the bolt to happen, and now they'll try to gut shot the Reclaimer as well, and now we get to sacrifice the Flagstones, see if they have another gut shot. No. Get a free Savannah, and then go and get Sajiri Step, because maybe they didn't think about the second copy, and now we get to give pro red. And now the gut shot resolves, or gets fizzled, I guess. Okay, well now we just have a Attack with both. End of damage. Untap Reclaimer. Play stage. 2 mana. Get rid of Bog. Dark Depths. Play around Wasteland. And just make the 2020 now? Yeah. Nice. Really nice to get game 1 there. I think the Mox Diamonds I am going to take out in this matchup. I'm going to keep in 1 library. Because I feel like with the amount of removal we can bring in, that I am happy to... to have 1 library just to make sure we don't, you know, run out of gas. I like this. Blast effects, extra ending, 1 choke, extra endurances. Yeah. We are playing 2 steps, which is really nice. Most green-white lists do. And I've definitely brought that over to green-black as well when I played green-black. This hand is fine. A little bit rough on mana, but happy to keep it as a 7. Opponent with land pass. I think it's just going to be Yav pass with crop up here. Interesting hand from my opponent. No turn 1 or turn 2 threat. Blast. Okay. It's just going to be step pass here. Hold up crop. Wow. Okay, they played a 3rd land, but haven't played anything yet. Very interesting. Caracas is nice. That allows us to play library here. Library actually in a really good spot here because, like, they have no pressure going. No way. Really? Doesn't make any sense. How many fetches in the list? Just 4. I cut the Wooded Foothills, which was the 5th, for the 2nd step. I mean, we're so close to just, like, having the combo online, which is crazy. I mean, next time we get to play out Endurance. Okay. I could get them with the ice counters, it's very correct. Okay. I think I will just run out the Endurance here. pass back? I guess I will. I feel like they're on. They did miss a land drop. They've missed a land drop for a few turns now. Okay. Next turn I can play the Reclaimer, which is nice. No flip, so they fetched before. The nice thing as well here is that this hand plays really well around Submerge, because by sacrificing my Yavimaya, I no longer have a forest in play. Brainstorm's going to be okay. Okay. I'm going to crop Yav here, because we have the second one. They do nothing. But I do want to play around a bounce effect like Brazen Borrower. So I'm going to untap here. Another Endurance is pretty nice. Prismatic's also pretty good. Put on top but pay for this. I will attack. I will Prismatic this. I could have copied the Volk as well, it's very correct. I actually should have done that. That's actually just a correct play. Yeah, because then also that Thespian Sage on top would have allowed me to have the combo up plus Elemental Blast. Nice catch there. Is there a world where I actually don't care about the Delver because I have the Endurance? We're definitely playing the Cradle. Yeah, I don't mind just keeping this off the field. This way we hold up the combo, we hold up Endurance, and Sword and Caracas. See if they fetch end step. They don't. They fetch upkeep? No. Now they fetch. Okay. They chose to shuffle. I don't even need to go for the 2020 here. They're going to play a Murktide. Okay. I can just Swords this as well in my turn to play around Daze. They gain 5, go to 16, but then don't have... Submerge does get there. Okay, they do have Submerge. Okay. That's fine. Nice. Now they don't gain the life either, which is really nice. By swordsing first and then pyroblasting. Nice. Okay. Well, it's nice to get one back. Yeah, Fern, that's very correct. To play around Submerge and then just not play around Submerge, that's very true. I think the other card that I was thinking of was just Brazen Borrower, but like maybe they thought their way of getting rid of the token was playing Lage or playing Murktide, blocking for a turn, and then untapping and dealing with it at sorcery speed. But yeah, I think the token there is incorrect. And I probably should have just used the mana to use Thespian Stage to make a red source with the Volk. I think that's the better play. So I 100% agree that that was the incorrect play to go for the combo there. I just don't think it was the time. Also, Panda gets a win here. Currently 1-1 against Magic Fish. But yeah. Luckily we got there. So nice little win. Ah, Ravenous. Monkey and Double Force Will and Wasteland will ever be. Yeah, that sounds pretty shocking. One second. Cool. So we played against double Reanimator and double Blue-Red Delver. Pretty norm. Black-Red. Did Black-Red Reanimator get a game? I don't believe they did. I believe we got the first one, and then we got the second one. Because we had that insane opener of double green card, double endurance, land, Mox, surgical. These are... I do like these small prelim events as well. They're quite nice. And it's really cool as well to have events like this that are actually pretty good at a pretty good time for me. Like today I had one at 1 PM and then this one was at 9 PM, which is really cool. But it looks like this is the last one. I'm actually not sure like what the point of them is. If they're supposed to get you into something, if you go 4-0. Hey, Mangork. That probably sounds correct. I was streaming when you went to bed, and I'm streaming when you got up. Hey, HE Butt as well. Welcome. We're currently 2-1 up in the Legacy Prelim, going up against Blue-Red Delver and BRx Reanimator, and down against Blue-Red Delver. So hopefully this last one is pretty good. Hopefully the last one isn't the bye. I assume not as a 2-1, but you never know. Correct. Yes, Mapson, thank you very much. So these tokens, what do they give you? I know you need 40 of them to get into something. Okay, nice. So I assume I qualify for an event with 44 of these. And I assume when I enter to it, it takes 40 off me. It's not a case of like, once you hit the threshold, you just keep them. Showcase challenges. Okay, cool. Nice. Same as PTQs. Okay. I assume that the cost isn't just these tokens, it's the tokens plus some number of either play points or tickets. These just qualify you to be able to enter for them, and then you also give them in when you get there. Incorrect, just the QPs. Wow, really? Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Okay, that's pretty cool. How often do these showcase tournaments come up? Like every quarter? I should know this as well. Once a month. Okay. Wow. Nice. That's cool. All right. Round 4. The QPs are fractional invites into MOX qualifiers, basically. Okay, cool. Hey, Tony. Thank you very much. Don't sweat it. I don't know any of these Moto things either. Yeah, it's funny. I just got a friend into Moto, and he was like, so how do you use it? Yeah, Tony, you do have too many top 8 challenge finishes to not know that. What is this? Ah, Sandpop, a huge thank you. Thank you very much. That is really cool. So we're looking for Legacy. Oh, a super qualifier? I'm not too sure what that is, but it sounds cool. Oh, you can enter the limited showcase events to get free packs if you have spare QPs. Okay, that's cool. Panda, I feel like that is a something that's not on you. I feel like that's just that's like when Maverick beats Doomsday. It's definitely not on the Doomsday player. It just kind of happened. Ah, super qualifiers send people to the Pro Tour. Okay, that's cool. I assume that's what Julian played in and came 4th. All right. "100% HG butt. That'd be very cool. I would love to see your deck." All right. Up against Sandpop. I believe Sandpop was just in here. Okay. Good luck, Sandpop. Please leave. But in the nicest way possible. Good luck with your match. Ah, that was a showcase qualifier. Gotcha. Good luck, Panda. You got this. Double library, but I don't mind it. Also being able to turn 1 library and then potentially turn 2 knight against if they are on 8 cast would be pretty cool. Ooh, oops. Yikes. Well, we tried. All right, anything spice. Can probably look for that. Not really. Pretty normal. I have a bad feeling as well. We did take out Deafening Silences, which is pretty huge. Alright. We like the Endurances. We like the Surgical. Blast is interesting, but I don't think it's worth it. You can, like, blast a Narcomoeba, but usually they have a bridge anyway to be able to get the creature back to sack. Force is probably okay. Gaddock Teeg is actually quite nice. The libraries are slow. Ramanap's slow. Caracas can come out. Maze can come out. Safekeeper out. There is a world where I want Blast just for like turn 1 mocks into land, hold up crop rotation and blast effects so they can't like force negation. Hey, we lost it. We lost to Oops. We lost to Oops. Send help. I think this is everything. Maybe. Oof isn't too bad. Yeah. Okay. I think that's okay. I could see like Knight potentially coming out for a blast. Reclaimer also might be too slow, but Reclaimer turn 1 just means we can hold up Bog if they don't have a way to kill it. Might just drop on a step. All right. No green mana, so we will mulligan this. Probably still a no. Pyros by themselves probably just don't do enough. Okay. We have Crop for Bog. We can keep 5. So we can bottom Dried Arbor. And Green Suns? There's a world where we draw Mox Dime and then we can Green Suns for Oof turn 2. I think there's a better 4, potentially. But my opponent is most likely on Thoughtseize, which kind of sucks. What do we have? We got Endurances, Surgical, Collector Oof. I think this is just too fair, and relying on just the crop isn't good enough. Opponent kept 7. The big thing about this hand is that it actually has a plan. Like, if either Crop or Reclaim have to go for Bog, then the other one is probably going for Thespian Stage. How much better can you really, go into 4? Yeah, I don't think we can, so I think we just have to keep this, and probably bottom Dried Arbor, and then Green Suns. Because I think my turn 2 play, I think it's turn 1 hold up Crop, turn 2 play Flagstones, play Reclaimer, hold up Crop. Yeah, so I think this is it. Opponent goes to 5. Okay. That's a bit better for us. Okay, that's a huge win. I don't... We are still alive. I don't think there's a world where I want to wasteland this land. Is there? like crop for Wasteland and then just play Reclaimer. Because that puts them off an ability to cast like a ritual effect, which is pretty huge. Punishing Waterfall says no. Punishing Waterfall is a very good friend of the channels, and I am going to take their advice. So I think it is just Flagstones, play Reclaimer, and then hold up crop again. How many, like we have to just try to bog here. There's nothing else to do. Oh, they have it. Cool. Not much I can do. Tough. 2-2. List was sweet though. I could see in that matchup where like having the extra deafening silences in the board would be good, but I took them out for the surgical and the extra red elemental blast. I just thought that they were better, which is like I think what we played against being Reanimator and 2 Delver decks I'm pretty happy with. But yeah, Oops is just one of those decks that you can't do too much against. Hey, not at all. That's the deck you play, so it's gonna have the negation at some point. But yeah, overall pretty happy with it. There were a few games where like we mulled a 5, but we're happy with what we were able to do with it, which is nice. And the blast effects were nice. We didn't really see them, and when we did, we didn't really need them. So there is a world where I would like to just play a green-white deck that doesn't need the blast effects, but it's definitely close. But I think for the next challenge, I'll probably try out Matt Vuk's list. It's like a junk Reanimator, junk midrange, like junk loam deck with Dark Confidence, which looks really strong. Yeah, I think I should have definitely checked if they went to 5 or not. I just thought they were keeping 7 because we, kept Mulligan and they kept 7, but that is not the case. But yeah, Terminal Reclaimer is much better there because it can't be like the Force Negation doesn't hit it, so I assume that was definitely the line. But it's always tough. Like there's definitely a 5 that can get there for them. Just gotta try not to. Yeah, I think being the play that I am, I'm always gonna hold up the crop there. I'm not gonna play the Reclaimer, so at least I was true to myself. But that's gonna be me. I'm pretty happy to go to bed. 2-2 is obviously a pretty poor effort in the prelim, but to get a win over Delver after losing one is probably the highlight, which is nice. So pretty happy about that. But yeah, really sad to see that there isn't another prelim coming up, at least not for a while. But I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna see who else is streaming. Hey She-Butt, thank you very much. True Hero is, which is cool. Playing some Legacy Shadow. They update the list on Wednesdays? Okay, cool. Nice. I assume in the morning for me it'll be updated, which is pretty sweet. But until then, a huge thank you to you guys for coming in and watching. Enjoy your days ahead, and I'll be back soon. Not sure when, but